Manole Madness. He's
10-4
cheating.
forever love you.
See, he's cheating with the numbers. First thing in the morning. First thing in the morning.
It's right there for everybody to see. Go, go, go.
All right, guys. Oh, this is hot.
Okay, if you're not, what the fuck you doing?
Whoa. See, I want to
Yeah.
see the fire.
043, love you.
Bruh. All right.
You know what blows my mind?
What? You know we're
Yeah.
recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What blows my
To
mind
make you,
is that when you're showing people courtesy,
right.
go ahead. And they're over there looking at you like a dumb look on their face. And you say, go ahead. And you make your hand more fast. And they go, oh, and they're waving. I'm not waving at you. I'm waving you by. Go. I'm showing you courtesy.
I never thought about that, but maybe they think, who's that? Like, do I know him? You know what I mean?
But I'm going like this.
Yeah,
Going
but
like this. If
I
I want to
can't-
say hi, I'm going to say hi.
If the sun is not shining right through the truck, I can't see either. Like,
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, but it's the front. It's the front.
Yeah, I
window.
can't see in the front.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Something wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with me. Ooh.
Oh, hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Okay. So,
Sauce or something?
this might, Yeah, Vienna.
That was only rice.
I gave you half of Vienna. How did you not taste that?
The orange is a rice.
See, here's the other half. Vienna. Okay. So, this might be a short one because we're only going to Kapolei.
Right.
So, we're going to court.
To support
Only,
our fellow Aloha Aina.
2 of them. And then we have, look at all this rain.
Beautiful.
And then we have,
Just a few sprinkles according to my Holly.
then we're going to go to town after to meet another client. To go do work for that client. We're going to meet at Zippy's, right?
Zippy's, the very first official office of Ho'omanapono.
That was your office.
Yeah, because that was dubbed the office by Auntie Paulette Keopuhiwa. She said, we'll meet you at your office. Office? What office? Because I always tell everybody my office is wherever my bag is at. And she said, Zippy's on Vineyard. Okay then.
So you had a free office and lunch.
So she will come from Waimanalo, and we'll come from Wainai, and we meet over there at Zippy's Vineyard.
That's cool. You guys met halfway.
Yeah.
So, right before we left, there was a fire. Apparently right behind my house. I knew it was close because that smell was strong.
Yeah.
It was really stinky. To me, it smelled like electrical
Yeah.
kind of fire. So they had the roads blocked off and stuff like that. See, there goes my voice again.
That hot, sexy, seductive voice. Talk to me. I want to talk to you.
Something's wrong with you.
Hey,
So you want me to call you on the phone?
call me. Let's talk.
Wasn't that what you were watching Tumua this morning?
Yep.
And then that was what they were saying.
Yeah.
You think my voice is sexy?
Kealohi. You skid with about Kealohi.
So funny. But so yesterday was a super long day and I was tired, okay, and I wanted to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And our cat, okay, so I
She
know
loves you.
she loves to get flown off the bed, but our cat, and I know why, it's because she has a lot of energy.
Yeah, she does.
She does zoomies all over the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a lot of toys for her, like ghetto toys.
And and that's
Yeah.
what I love. We didn't buy the toys.
Yeah, I think we bought like
couple
1 or
things
2,
we bought,
but
yeah.
that's it. Whoa. And so, yeah, we have a lot of ghetto toys for her, and she loves them.
Mm-hmm.
She really loves them. And we try to keep her as busy as possible. But
You sound sexy.
man, like we
Getting excited.
we have shit to do. We have shit to do. Here, put something in your mouth.
I put something in my mouth, right?
So, 3 o'clock in the morning, she's like biting my feet because, okay, he's covered up all night under the blanket. I don't know how he does
I love it.
But I get
gotta
hot.
snuggle.
Well, I guess because you're right next to the fan too. But I can't be right next to the fan.
I need the fan. I'm the guy that always needs a fan.
Well, I need you to be my blocker for the fan. So
Shit, what's together? Look all this rain.
I know. And so, in the middle of the night, after I start getting hot, I'll take off the blanket, just leave the blanket next to me, you know, and I'll just have, especially sometimes I'll just have my feet out, you know, or sometimes it's everything.
This is called Papa Happy.
Oh.
Nice.
And then, so 3 o'clock in the morning, I swear, like 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So this
But this
morning,
is ghetto as fuck. Vienna sausage and rice.
yeah, that's all I had time
That's how
to
we
do.
roll.
But, you know, usually we have like healthier breakfast cereal with blueberries or something. But this morning, we didn't have time and I didn't want us to go to court without eating.
Yeah.
So I just
That
made
shit can
Vienna
drag out.
rice. Yeah, plus we're gonna go to town and then we wouldn't eat till lunchtime.
So ghetto.
So yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning, she's jumping on the bed, jumping off, jumping on the bed, biting my feet, like wrestling, grabbing onto my feet, flipping upside down, and biting my toes. And she's not biting like super hard,
Right.
but
you
it's
can
enough
feel
to
it.
wake me up, you know. And I'm like, oh, stop.
Stop.
And then
Sound like somebody I know.
Yeah, I know him too.
What?
But so I'm telling her stop, and then sometimes she's so
Okay.
cute because she'll stop and then she'll lick my toes, right? Like, I'm sorry, but
I told you, you're delicious. That's why it
not
happens.
why.
You're
I'm not-
delicious. You got Aiko flavor.
that is not why.
Aiko flavor.
I'm giving you a
She's
whole
addicted to
sausage
Aiko flavor.
because I realize I'm running out of rice. But so she keeps me up. She deprives me of like 2 hours of sleep. And so when I wake up now, I'm so tired. And I was already tired from yesterday.
No, just do a 20-minute nap.
I can't do
It's
that.
not that.
I can't do nut naps. You know my naps is like 2 hours. If I sleep like 2 hours for a nap, then I'm okay. But if I make it too close to when
I
we're
remember
sleeping,
first time you told me I was gonna take a nap, I'll be back. Yeah, okay.
I wanted
I got
to.
in practice. You're sleeping all night.
It was like 2 hours. It wasn't all night.
Well, where you stay, bro? Looking for my partner.
100 million minutes. I was
100 million
gone.
minutes is long. Me,
That's like
20
12.
minutes. Boom, get up, refresh, ready to go. Fire.
I could never do that. I think it's a prison thing for you.
Yeah, it is.
But people take nut naps all the time. I could never do that. I think because
So where that term nut nap came from was in Halaba High School facility.
I heard it out here though.
Well, you probably heard them out there after we started talking about it. So these are back in the late 80s, early 90s. We was in solitary confinement, and you had inmates that was on psychotropic drugs,
Huh.
and when they would shoot them up with the Thorazine, now they'd be over there making noise, drumming on the toilet, okay, bah. Okay, bah, 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 okay, noise, talking crazy
All
stuff,
time of the hours.
and all. But
Like,
as soon as they get this shot, in about 20 minutes,
they're
Okay.
quiet.
in about 20 minutes, Bob, They will go dead silence. And then, about 20 minutes later, about half an hour later, but they would wake up and start off exactly where they left off. I had one guy who would always sing, and he would drum his beat, everything like that, and he would be out. And then about 20 minutes later, he'd get up and he'd be right where drumming off and singing the song that he just sang.
So they become narcoleptic.
No, it's
Because that's
crazy.
like narcolepsy, right? Like you just fall asleep and then you wake up and you continue.
Yeah, you know, you just like, so we dub that nut naps.
Okay, now explain
So
to
the
me.
nut people taking naps.
Oh, okay. I was thinking nuts. You know, those nuts.
Whoa,
I was-
these nuts,
That's why I was like, these nuts.
but it's
That's
your
why-
nuts.
That's why I was like, why?
Your
Why
nuts in
did
your
you guys
mouth.
think about nuts when you just, you know?
Your
Okay,
what
now
is it?
it makes sense. Yes, I did. Notice I'm ignoring that,
Yeah,
but
yeah. So nuts, you know, cuckoo people. Yeah.
yeah, now it makes sense. That's interesting. Now I can't think of the. You know how some things you can never unsee once you see it. So now I can never hear that term without seeing cuckoo people in my mind. Okay, remind me not to throw this container away, or I'm reminding you not to throw it away because we have a real spoon in here.
Okay. Yeah, you know, one of the accomplishments that I had in Halava was I had it in my mind to help these guys that was on psychotropic drugs. They was sending them to the hole, and I was thinking to myself, this is stupid. You know, the whole solitary confinement is for people to
Who are
learn to
naughty like-
appreciate being naughty in prison, and that's what they send you to the hole for. They send you to the hole because you're naughty. You cannot function in the general population, so they send you to the hole as punishment, right? And they would send all these guys with psychotropic drugs to the hole because they cannot deal with them. And then when they act out in the hole, they will come in there and beat them up.
Okay, see, I can see them sending them to the hole maybe for protection, because when they're on drugs, they don't know what they're doing, right? So they could do
Yeah.
shit to people
No,
and
but-
get beat
no.
up. But to beat them up in the hole,
No, not even that. Even just sending them to the hole. Because my logic was, it doesn't matter if they're in a cell, on a roof, or on a moon. They don't know where the fuck they stay.
That's what I
They have no clue. So they need to be in one place that would help nurture them and help them, because they're not functioning in their
Right.
right mind, right?
and that's why I said protection.
Yeah,
Because
but
there is no place in jail or in prison.
well, wait though, wait. This is what you're gonna see the logic of my genius, right? So, what I did was, I was going to the library, and I went type up one letter to the state legislature. The letterhead was to addressed to the state House of Representatives, the Senate, the governor, lieutenant governor, the mayor. I would send all these, and then I would mass copy of them, and I just should write in all the names of the individuals that was on the list in the book, yeah, to all the legislators. I would send that out, mass mailings, right? Just to send the whole thing out. This was in 1990 something. It was right before 436 Love You Baby. Was right around 89, 90. I went and do that. It was right. I can tell you exactly in the historical books, because Department of Public Safety at that time never had any healthcare division. They never had anything like
Right.
that, right? Then one day, and just so happened that day, one of the sergeants was punking me in the rec yard, after I just won a grievance for him to stop forcing me to take out my tooth. I had on a false teeth put in, and he was like, it was punking me. Anyway, that's another story. So I was there. Well, next thing you know, a whole bunch of civilians and brass came into the hole. They come and they stop right in front of my cell. And in the window is only like this, right? I stay looking outside of that one holy lady, one short holy lady, one big nose. But she just has big blue eyes. And she goes, Dimon Connor? I go, yeah? Who are you? She tell me, my name is Kim Thorburn, Dr. Kim Thorburn. I'm the new healthcare administrator for the Department of Public Safety. I was like, huh? And then we want to talk to you. Can we come in and talk to you? I told him,
come in.
Okay, but my cell locked. So the sergeant, open cell tree. But the first thing I did, I went back up and put my hands behind my back, so nobody can say, "Fuck, I did anything," because I'm not trusting these people, right?
Yeah.
And
especially she's a woman.
yeah, and then had two guys came with her. Those were the monitors for the consent decree, for the Spears versus Ariyoshi consent decree that monitored OCCC and the women's prison. It was Ron Shansky and Armand Stark. They wrote a report about this meeting with me, right? It's in the files. But anyway, she says, so tell me, why did you send this letter? I said, because I'm mad. I don't understand why you guys locking these guys up in a hole. This hole is for guys like me. You know, it's we screw up in general population, and you send us to the hole, and we appreciate the error of our ways, and we get out and we don't come back.
It's like a timeout.
Yeah, but it's punishment, right? It's not timeout.
Right.
It's
well,
punishment.
Timeout is punishment to kids.
Right? And I said, I don't understand why they do that. And when they act out, they just come in here, beat them up. You know what I mean? And they stay in the cell, bloody and everything, and they wait a couple of days later. Then they send them to the medical unit, and by that time things pass off. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why they do that. So I looking for help for these guys. You guys don't need have these guys over here. They need to be one place where they can get the treatment that they need.
Yeah. And
she goes, that's a really good idea. And then this guy, he just kept walking back and forth. I think it was Armand Stark. He was walking back and forth. And I never know these guys, but I learned these guys when I was there. I met them.
Right.
And he goes, so why are you here? I said, well, you know, I'm called a jailhouse lawyer, you know, and when you're a jailhouse lawyer in this environment, you gotta expect that they're gonna send you to the hole for every little thing. They wanna retaliate against us, so that's why I'm here. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, take this morning's incident for example. What's perfect timing? That sergeant was punking me, but I was able to tell him everything. And he goes, a handcuff key in a prosthesis? He goes, yeah, that's what he said. He's shaking me down because I might be hiding one handcuff key in my false tooth. And he goes, you know,
when they're all going to the fire.
Yeah, he goes, you know, I've been in maximum security prisons all across the United States, and I've never once heard a handcuff key hidden in a prosthesis.
It must have been a big hole.
And he goes, he looks at the sergeant, he goes, how do you explain that? And then the sergeant tried to start to explain, and then he caught himself, and he goes, you know, I don't think we should talk about this in front of inmates. We should go outside. So the guy goes, okay, let's go. Bruh, that day, he was so mad when they was closing the door. He was holding the door, closing them, and he kept looking at me. I look at him, I told him, man, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck that. I got you. That's when I first realized.
Did they let you out?
No. No. That's when I first realized the power that we have of your mind. of your mind.
Instead of your fist.
Yeah, instead of my fist. It worked fucking beautifully. And then that's when I started to really change my approach, because up until then it was all about the fist and the mouth, right? Fuck you.
So
Fuck
that
you.
was another moment, like the other day we were talking about what
Mhm.
moments changed your life and made you who you are today.
Yeah,
So that was another moment for
yeah.
you.
That was a crossover
Yeah.
where I started to realize that I don't have to be violent to get my point across. That I just had to use my mind. And so then I was more hungry for learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I figure the more learn I get, the more smart I get, the more chance I get to do that.
It's
Now
8:22.
you want us to just stay parked here?
Yeah, I was thinking it's 8:22. Then we don't have to pay for as much parking, right?
Yeah, no, but we can stay parked here and then walk over there,
Oh,
right?
we can. I mean, I don't know. Or we can just park here until it's a little bit closer to the time.
You know, like walk across the street. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can. It just, like, it's kind of obvious Costco's not even open. Not even close to being open. I don't mind parking over there,
Where?
but like at the courthouse. But we can wait here for maybe like 20 minutes because it's 9 o'clock is
Oh,
their
okay.
thing, and it's only 8:22.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock already?
No, it's their court hearing is at 9. It's only 8:22 right now.
Oh, okay.
So we wait till
Yeah,
like 8:40.
but that was on. So when they came out with the report, in the report they cite against Halawa's exaggerated security concerns. That's what they called it.
That's a good word.
Exaggerated security concerns, and they outlined that story. They didn't drop my name. They didn't talk about the kind. They just talked about that incident. But what came from that was there. She goes, yeah, because we got your letters. You wrote to everybody. I said, yeah, I wanted to write to everybody because somebody gonna say something about this. Somebody needs to do something
It's
about
cool
this.
They actually listened to it, or they
Yeah,
actually read it. You know?
and then what they
Took
said,
it serious.
within a day or two, well, at that day when they left, well, Abraham Kumukai, he was on psychotropic drugs. Hey, you fucker, I'm not mental, bro. I'm not mental. You fuck keep on, I go kill you, you fucker. I'm not mental. I said, yeah, okay, Abe, it's okay, bro. It's gonna be all right. And then fucking the next day they came, bag them up, then bag everybody up. All that was on psychotropic drugs. And they shipped them to the OCCC, to
Wow.
one of the modules, and clear them out. And that was just for people on medication.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And they were bringing in therapists and psychologists and whatnot for go deal with that. And guess what? The first person said when they was bagging them up and when they was told where they was going,
What?
Abraham Kumukahi. Hey, bro, I love you, bro. I love you. Hey, thanks, Andy, man. But we love you, bro. And then everybody, all the Looney Tune guys was like, thank you, brother. And they all went. He
That's
wanted
cool.
to kill me the day before. You know what I mean?
So he was bipolar too.
He's a big guy, big
That's cool,
Hawaiian
though.
guy. Huh?
That's cool though.
Yeah. So that was one of my accomplishments that I did, and that started to you know, I gotta credit John Prince. Well, you know what? I gotta look up his name.
And it's not like you had to, like.
I'm gonna look
you
up his
know,
name. Yeah, go ahead and talk, cause I'm
you
gonna should look up his name.
You didn't get. I mean, cause like you didn't have to do that. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, so this is why I say that you're a good man at heart, no matter what people say about your past, and even in your past, while you were in prison with life sentences, you had nothing to lose.
Right.
So and by doing that to help others, you had nothing to gain.
Right.
It's not like it helped you any, right? So that's like one of the cool things.
Yeah.
This lady has like all kinds of bags on her.
Mm.
There was 3 guys sitting down waiting for Costco to open already. Those are like hardcore Costco guys, man. It's like, what, 2 hours early? And they're like, I'm gonna be the first in line. So, today, so he's looking up somebody. It's funny because there was a couple people that made a real impact in his life, and a couple of them he still keeps in touch with, but a couple of them, you know, that was in the prison system, worked in the prison system. He recently was able to reconnect with them and tell them thank you, you know, and they just kind of blew their mind, you know, asking him, what are you doing now? And he told them the history, you know, that he had to go back a couple times, but he told them how his life is now, and they're just blown away, you know, and they're so proud of him, and they know where he came from, how far he's come to get where he is right now. So I'm glad you get to reconnect with them. You know, I wish I could reach out to the judge that told you that you never see the streets again or something.
Yeah.
But he died, you said, right? He was an old judge.
Yeah, he died.
I wish I could reach out to him.
He was an old man already when they sentenced me.
Yeah. Because those are the kinds of people that, you know, I want to show them where he is now. Because I think anybody can change. Anybody can change with the right support, you know.
Oh, there's a John P. Ypsilanti Trip Wilder died already. I hope that's not him, man.
Is he here, like, or somewhere else?
Died in Michigan, I think.
But, so the rest of the week we can't sell food because today we're supporting 2 of our clients, and tomorrow, Kiai, we taught our dog that word because we'd put away his toy and he would be staring at the toy all night. So I would teach him tomorrow, and then he eventually.
Oh, look at this guy. He born in 1886, died 1976.
Wow.
Damn, that's like 90 years old.
But it came in handy because when our dog got sick with parvo and he was in the hospital, the vet said that he wasn't responding. I mean, his body was getting better, but emotionally he wasn't responding. And I said, probably because he thinks we abandoned him, right? Because he hadn't seen us in, was it like almost 5 days?
Yeah, and I learned a lot from that.
So, yeah, and so I said, you know, if he could just hear our voice, I think that would help him, you know. And so they arranged for us to see him, and that was like the last night, because it was pretty much the vet was saying they don't understand why he's not getting better, but that's all they could do already, you know. So we couldn't afford to pay for more hospital stays, so we thought we were bringing our dog home to die, you know. And I didn't want him to die in the vet.
Right.
So that's what our mindset was. But when we went to go visit him, we had to stay outside the door, but we could see him, and he wagged his tail, and they said, they all cried, and they said, oh my God, this is the first time he wagged his tail since he's been here, you know. And we were crying, and my kids were on the video, and we were just all basket cases, and we were telling him, hi Kiai, hi, you know, you're such a good boy. And so when we were leaving, I said, oh my gosh, he's gonna think we're abandoning him again. So I told him, Kiai, you're gonna come home tomorrow, okay? And he
heard that.
Yeah, he kind of did his doggy twist, and he looked at me. I said, tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow. And so I know he understood that. So we went to pick him up the next day, and he was so happy. And the vet said, they do like hourly checks, and they have to write in a log, like, if he ate, drank, how much he peed, did he make doo doo and stuff. And she said, I have to tell you, our hourly logs were really depressive, up until 7 p.m. when you guys visited him.
Yeah.
Ever since 7 p.m., his hourly checks have been so much better. Like,
Yeah.
he sat up, he wagged his tail for us, all of that. And so she said, it really taught everybody something too, that, that's not all about the medicine. When an animal gets sick, you think, they're just animals. They're not. She said it's a lot of healing that has to go on spiritually with their connected humans. And so I told her, I said, the vet was wonderful. They were great. But I hope they use that for other families, to encourage it.
Yes.
That's the same for babies. Like when Keegan was in the hospital, there was a lot of families that they couldn't handle seeing their baby going through open heart surgeries, so they left.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
They
Announcement.
would leave their babies in the
I
hospital.
was trying to call him.
I know.
That came up.
They were leaving their babies in the hospital, and their babies would start to go downhill. Their blood work was dropping, and their everything, like brain issues were dropping, their heart stuff started having troubles. And then one baby that we know, that's the family that had called me. And when they initially called me when they were pregnant, the first question that they had for me was, how many hours a week do you spend caring for your sick child? And I was like, huh? How many hours do I spend? And she's like, yeah, because we both work and we're debating. The doctor gave us the option to abort. And I was like, I don't count the hours. I'm sorry. Like, it's my child, right?
Right.
I'm a mother. I'm gonna take as many hours as I need. And so, and she said, oh, they were just debating and all that. So I said, I can't tell you what to do, because it's not my child, it's not my body, right? I said, but I can tell you that there are many success stories with children born with what your child is going to be born with. And so I said, it is a lot of hard work, and it is emotionally difficult. You're going to go through a lot of hard times, but for me, my child is everything. And so in the end, they decided to have the baby. We introduced them to the support group, and we had them over our house a few times because they were going to the hospital in San Diego where my son went. So we were kind of like taking them under our wing, telling them, okay, don't go to this place. You're going to waste your time going to this place, and giving them the ins and outs of, what the hospital does. This is a good place to go when your child's getting a surgery and all that, and how to deal with certain doctors and nurses. And, and I was trying to teach her to be an advocate for her child, not just depend on the nurses and the doctors. But, she was calling me. They were calling me while they were there and updating me on the baby. And then one day she tells me, when the baby's in ICU after surgery, that they're coming home. Both of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, baby's still in ICU though, right? She goes, yeah, but we gotta come home because I gotta do some work, and then my husband has to tie up some loose ends, stuff like that. And I was like, can you guys not switch? Like, one of you come home, one stay with baby, and then maybe the following week you guys switch or something? She goes, no, it's okay. She's in good hands, and we can't do anything anyway because she's in the ICU. So doctors and nurses are taking care of her. And I was like, I just had in my gut feeling, you know, I was like, this is not going to be good. And I tried to convince her to stay. She was like, no, no, no. It's only going to be for a week. It's fine. She literally, like, was on the plane. They were on the plane.
Right.
And I happened to call one of the people at the surgeon's office. And I was telling them, I said, how's baby doing? Because mom them are on their way. And I was the advocate for, you know, Hawaii families. So I could, you know, call. And everybody signed the HIPAA law thing.
Right.
So she told me, baby's not doing good. Like 2 hours after they left, the baby started declining. And I was like, oh my God. And so when the flight was supposed to come in, I got the call from the hospital that baby might not make it. Baby just crashed all of a sudden. She was stable and she just crashed, right? And I was like, oh my God, it broke my heart. And nobody could get in touch with the parents because they were on the plane. So as soon as the plane landed, she found out that her baby was gonna die, most likely gonna die within the next 24 hours. And so they turned around and caught a flight back to San Diego. And when they got to San Diego, the baby died.
Oh.
I was just like, you know, it's like the same thing. Like, you know, you can't, they feel it. The baby could be, you know, sedated and everything, but they can hear your voice. They can understand you. They can feel you. You know, Keegan had a neighbor when he was in the hospital one time, and Jay and I would switch. He would go back to the Ronald McDonald House, sleep, shower, eat, and then he would come back, and I would go to the Ronald McDonald House and do that, right? So somebody was always with Keegan. But that kid next door cried all night for mommy and daddy. And they would leave like way before, they would leave like 5 o'clock, and visiting hours didn't end like till like 8. They would leave at like 5 o'clock, and even the nurses are like, oh, you guys are leaving already? And they go, oh yeah, we're hungry, we're gonna go eat. They would leave every night to go eat at a restaurant. And they wouldn't come until like almost lunch, because we ate breakfast, you know, and stuff. I'm just like, wow. And the baby was so sad. Mommy, daddy. I think the baby was like maybe almost 2. So it's not like he was an infant too. And I just, the nurses, when they didn't have critical care patients, they would put the baby in a hospital stroller,
Right.
and they would take the baby on walks around the thing, and they would hold the baby and try to, you know, take care of the baby. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. This child has parents.
Yeah.
2 parents. And the nurses were doing it. One time I told the nurse, oh my gosh, can I go care for the baby? Can you just open the door? Like, they had some rooms, the door in between, you could open it.
Right.
I'm like, can you just open the door, you know, in between my son's room and theirs? You know, we can talk to the baby. Maybe he can talk to my son while, you know, and he can be comforted. And they're like, no, we can't do that because of privacy stuff. I'm like, damn it. When the parents come, have them sign something, you know, and agree. And Keegan's like, Mom, I can't get rest. Like, he was supposed to rest because he was also having seizures at the time. And the best thing for seizures is just rest. He's telling the doctors, they're like, well, you know, you're still having a lot of seizures. He goes, they go, you need to rest. And he goes, I can't. Can you tell the parents of the baby next door to come take care of their child? I'm like, that's just crazy. What time is it?
8:41.
Oh, okay. You want to go park over there?
Okay.
We can go park over there.
So we're going to do the park over there.
Yeah.
All right.
That way we don't have to pay for as much. I think it's like 2 or 3 hours. I could pay for the max, and then they should be, because we got to be in town anyway.
Yeah. So one set of clients for the legal stuff to another set of clients for the legal stuff. Yeah, and that's another thing too that we provide. We come to you.
Yeah.
We come to you and we wanna be there, we're supportive.
Even if
everything,
there's
yeah.
no work to do on our end, it's just to support,
Yeah,
you know.
because I believe in what we're doing.
Yeah. And that really helps the clients too, because the one client, the one that we're going to for today, she always says to you, we tell her, you know, you're doing a great job, like you're so awesome in court, and she's like, with you guys by my side, I feel more confident, you know.
And she is confident. I
Yeah.
mean, she stand up and she just hammered him.
Sometimes just having somebody there,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what I tell you too, like we were talking about fixing problems. Sometimes just having you there
Right.
helps me when you can do nothing at all to fix my problem. Just having you there, knowing that you're there. Sometimes maybe I just need a hug, you know, or something. And
What are you doing?
try to turn around. He's got a tiny car though, so he can do it.
Okay, so
But, yeah.
we're 206. 206.
206.
There
Okay.
you go.
Okay.
Okay.
You can finish.
You gotta
the
put in your
video.
stall number and go to the machine and put money. If she gonna do that, and I'm gonna be parking the vehicle. I gotta tell you, but I really love my wife because her heart is for the babies, for people who suffer, for anybody. I mean, she's teaching me a lot to be what it means to be human. Oh, hold on. Overshot it. Yeah, so I gotta tell you, man, when you guys get somebody in your life that looks at you as a human and treats you as human, you gotta hold on to that and do whatever you can to keep that. And I don't deserve that, but I'm grateful to have that in my life. And here she comes. Don't tell her I said that though. Nobody go ahead.
Are you still on the video?
Yeah. Hey, look at that. Look at, we're in the zone. Oh.
1143K, I love you. Why are we on the zone?
We're in the zone because 252, 152. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
151.
It's all match. I mean, 151, yeah.
That's cool. But I got that.
Nah,
I got that.
it's alright.
Excuse me?
It's alright.
What you mean?
Not bad.
There's a 4 number. 4. Okay, so are we cutting the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Love, peace, and happiness, y'all.
Bye.
We're out of here.